Good afternoon. This is just try this again. Good afternoon. Act like you're proud to be here. We are having a celebration, you realize. We are celebrating the completion of the Riverwalk, and you ought to give yourself a round of applause for that. Thank you. Yeah, we're here really to celebrate the Riverwalk itself and the completion. We want to give you a chance in just a little while to view it and see it and all the good stuff that goes with it. But you need to know this has been pretty much a process in the making, a project in the making for 27 years. And before you say anything, Tolliverton Road and Williston did not take this long. So I know you're thinking that, so just go on. This is a historical event, though. This is a historical event in the sense we are completing a major transportation corridor for our community. And I'll explain that for you in just a second. It's also historic in the sense of where we are today. If you think about this, we're sitting on the old Bibb Mills ground, and I think about every time I come up here to look at this site, about the history it goes with, the people that worked here, the things they manufactured, and now it's being transformed into something else that's being transformed into a use that we can all enjoy just as much as it has in the past. You're looking at also a historical event in the sense that this is a TIA project. This is a Transportation Investment Act of 2012 project that you voted for, that you helped pay for, and you should be proud of that fact because this is what $10 million gets you. $10 million, we think, and no, we don't think, we believe and know that this has been well spent money for our community. Since 2012, we've had 7 projects that were developed. 4 of those, I'm happy to say, with this one being complete. So you should be proud of that fact. And there are 3 right now. The other 3 are actually under design and ready to go forward. Now, I want to kind of real quickly here before we get started here, I want to kind of dovetail into what the mayor said at his State of the City meeting when he started off talking about how he could see in the future about things that were going on. I want you to do just a little bit just the opposite with me, though. Imagine there is no Riverwalk, and imagine what we have to live with today. If there's no Riverwalk, folks, there is no Uptown Columbus. I dare say there is a thesis for that matter, and there is no total system. There is no talk really about Whitewater. There certainly is no Frank Martin pedestrian bridge. It's all because of the fact that this spine system, what I call a spine system, runs along the river here, and the things that it has generated over the years that makes us what we are today, that great community that a lot of folks are envious of in terms of what we deal with. So what was started back in 1992, we are here to declare a day in 2019 that it is finished. We have finished really what I consider the equivalent of a new highway, if you think about it. We had two major sections of the Riverwalk that we want to celebrate today, one being this section here at Bibb, the other section at City Mills that were not complete. So if you wanted to get on this and either walk, ride, or jog, or whatever the case may be, you had to get back off one first. Now, a lot of folks didn't care for that. We've gone beyond that. So we've offered new recreational opportunities to the community as a whole because of this completion. I will also submit to you that we have also providing new economic development opportunities for our community. In the sense of what we have done with the Uptown area, I anticipate the same thing happening for the Bibb Mill area, the City Village area itself, excuse me, those kind of things coming about as we go along now. Understand that this great amenity is in place. So for that, we should be very proud of what we as a community have accomplished and what we are doing to help insinuate for the future itself for this great community. So keep that in mind, please, as we go forward here with the presentations. At this time, I'm going to call Pastor Vince Allen to the podium here to give our invocation. Follow that with the national anthem and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend Allen.
Good afternoon to all of our public officials, to the mayor of our great city, to our former mayor, and to all of the residents of Columbus, Georgia. Let us bow in prayer. Father, today we pause to say thank you for this great occasion that we celebrate. The completion of this corridor, which also represents a connection a connection of different socioeconomic statuses, a connection of different people groups, a connection of past, present, and future. Today we say thank you for the vision, the foresight, the insight to build strategic partnerships to see such a venture come to pass. We know that oftentimes those great things may be delayed, but today we're thankful that they're not denied. So, Father, we pray now that this corridor, this connection point will serve our city, that will touch hearts and that will bring health and fitness, that will cause us to meet and to commingle with people that we may have never envisioned ourselves connecting with before. Now, Lord, we pray that as this serves as a place of opportunity, that you give our leaders the vision, the insight to know what is best in the development of these areas. Now, Lord, we thank you. We thank you for the protection that you've given all of the workers. We thank you for the provision to make it happen. Now we ask, in the precious name of your Son, that those great things that you have prepared and you already have in store for the city of Columbus, Georgia, for the Chattahoochee Valley area, Father, that you give us the wisdom to help see it come to pass. We ask it in the name of thy Son. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Allen. Now, if you would please stand with me as we have the posting of the colors, followed by our national anthem, and then the Pledge of Allegiance. And now our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
March point, march. Right turn, march. Forward, march. Left. 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 March time. March. Right turn. March. Corridor. Hold. Reach center. March. Pulse the color.
Please be seated. I know that many of you, I failed, let me back up, I failed to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rick Jones. I'm the Director of Planning for the city. And I know many of you are saying, well, gee, Rick, how did you manage to pull this off by yourself? But I didn't. Trust me, I didn't on this one. Let me introduce to you today, first the Army Brass Band members here. I'm going to try to read this. The sun's killing me, my screen here, but Sergeant First Lanny Yearix, and if I messed your name up, forgive me. Y'all just have to come after me later on. But Staff Sergeant Jay Parks, Sergeant Stephanie Donnelly, okay, Sergeant Chris Walton, and Sergeant Ryan Combear. And then for our color guard today is also from Fort Benning is Sergeant First Class Gustavo Rivera, Sergeant Gonzalo, I should have pronounced these names, Esclancy, Staff Sergeant Kevin Hernandez, and Staff Sergeant Daniel Deva. Would you please join me in giving them a round of applause? And again, I ask for your forgiveness on slaughtering your names, so on that deal. I also want to give you just a few more minutes here, if you will, of your time for you to introduce our other speakers here today. I want to especially give a sincere thank you to Valley Hospitality and to Tracy Sayre and to Lindsay here. They have graciously allowed us from Valley Hospitality to hold this ceremony here, and we do appreciate that. Our friends at Parks and Rec, also Columbus Civic Center, who loaned us the golf carts. We said the Benning Brass, Public Works Department, Transportation Investment Act is here also as well with us today. We saw that and thank them for that being here. We also have former Mayor Teresa Thomason. I saw you here somewhere. There you are. Glad to have you here, man. Thank you for being here, coming. We also have Councilor Allen and Councilor John House. Of course, we have Councilor Walker Garrett and Councilor Mimi Woodson here with us as well today. Did I miss any other elected official? Please forgive me. I'm trying to find my way around here today. I also want to thank those on the program today also here, though, particularly Ryan Pruitt. Ryan, thank you. Ryan is our project manager in engineering. He's the one that oversees this project of this type and makes them become a reality. Ryan, thank you for all your hard work and effort on this. You've done a great job of this. We couldn't be here also without Heck Burrishaw Architects. Gentlemen, thank you for being here as well. Appreciate your hard work. Scott Breach with our actual construction on this one. Southeastern Contracting down at the City Mills site was the one for that. John Teeples, who I don't believe John made it. If he did, I don't see him, but John built some stairs, and I will tell you in a little bit why that's significant to you, because you're really going to like that from that standpoint. And last but not least, my staff here from the planning department, Millicent Burden, who has been running ramshot over this whole thing for us and keeping us on task. Trey Wilkerson, David Cooper, John Renfro, Addie Britt, Will Johnson, Mike Mixon, Linda Temples, and Felton Grant. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all your hard work and putting this together for us. I do appreciate it. Okay. So with that, let me have the pleasure now of introducing to you the 70th Mayor of Columbus, Mayor Skip Henderson. He is still relatively new, so be nice to him when he comes up here to you. But we're going to ask him to come and give you greetings and welcome. Mayor.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Man, what a great day. I think the only thing better than this weather is the occasion that we are gathered for. And Rick stole a little bit of my thunder. I wanted to recognize the council members that are here. You know, one of the cool things about being a mayor still in that honeymoon phase, you know, the first couple of months, you get to take a lot of bows for work you didn't do. I want you to indulge me very quickly. I'd like to ask former Mayor Teresa Thomason to stand for just a moment, and let's thank her for her work in helping this occasion become a reality. Thank you, Mayor. It is my privilege to greet you, to welcome you on behalf of not only the councilors that are here, but those that couldn't make it today, and the consolidated government and all of the 200,000 plus residents of Muskogee County, as well as our sister city across the river in Phoenix City. you know, as a kid, you millennials won't get this, but as a kid, we actually used to play with puzzles. And it was always pretty neat that you'd put a piece in here and a piece in there, and you'd see it slowly start taking shape. And there was not only a sense of an accomplishment, but a real sense of awe when you push that final piece into place. That's what today feels like. Because what we're doing now is pushing into place the final piece that, as Pastor Allen said, is not only a connector between North and South and different socioeconomic stratas, but it's also a reminder of what you did. We introduce council, mayors take bows. This is about the people of Columbus. It's your vision, it's your courage, it's your penny that accumulated the money to be able to make this fantastic Riverwalk. So on behalf of all of the employees and all of the residents of Muskogee County, welcome and good job, Columbus. Thank you.
You know, I was feeling pretty good about myself a while ago, which is not normal, but I was still feeling pretty good about myself until I spoke to Councilor Garrett a while ago. And he said, "Oh yeah, Ricky, I remember when the Riverwalk got started. I was only 8 years old." I felt really old all of a sudden. Isn't that right, Gary Allen? We both felt kind of old with that. So I say that to say this. I get the pleasure of also introducing our city manager, Isaiah Hughley, who was also 12 when this project started. So you can understand his youthfulness here, but he's here to also give you his insight about the project and what it means to Columbus. Mr. City Manager.
Good afternoon to each of you. I caught a few of the words of the mayor when he said to you, it's your vision, your courage, and your penny. And let me just take the opportunity for all of those to say thank you. Without your vision, without your courage, without your penny, we would not be standing here this afternoon. In the early 90s, we had a combined sewer overflow problem. And you, the people of Columbus, said yes to taking care of a combined sewer overflow. But then there was that vision that said, we just can't go and spend $95 million to take care of a combined sewer overflow problem and still have something that we cannot see and many people would not be able to appreciate. And someone with the vision and the courage said, we're going to take your penny and we're going to put on top of that combined sewer overflow a Riverwalk. And that's why we're standing here today, because someone had the courage and someone had the vision to use your penny wisely. And so as we stand here today from Lake Oliver Marina all the way to Fort Benning, nothing but good has come out of that penny. You know, I think about what this area looked like and what uptown Columbus looked like in the 1990s, and we didn't have a National Infantry Museum, we didn't have an urban whitewater rafting, we didn't have the many things that we appreciate today. You know, you got the beautiful TSIS campus that was just being coming to life. And so for all of the good things that have come out of the Riverwalk, I just stand today to say thank you. And then we didn't stop with just the 22 miles. We did the interconnect. We've got 60 miles total today of Riverwalk, going from downtown to Columbus State University to Cooper Creek and on out to Flat Rock Park. And then from Casita Road on out to Fort Benning. We've got inner city walking, biking, jogging trails that makes that total approximately 60 miles. But you know, bridges, this is the second bridge in recent months. We did the one across Victor Drive. And when I think about the bridges, I think about connecting people, places, and things. You know, Columbus, if you look around us today, I mean, we've got a beautiful city. And we've truly been able to connect people, places, and things and do something really great for Columbus. We've got road projects going on all throughout our city, north, south, east, and west. We've got as many as 25 projects either going or planned, totaling more than $300 million. People are asking about our public-private partnerships, all the great things that we're doing. And so bridges are connecting people, places, and things, and we're doing great things. And it's my pleasure to stand here before you today as we look at this $10 million bridge connection to say thank you to the people of Columbus for your courage, for your vision, and for your penny. So God bless each of you. And Columbus, let's keep doing great things for our children and our grandchildren as they come along behind us in the future. Thank you. God bless you.
I'm going to shift the program around just a little bit here. I'm going to ask that our next remarks come from Councilor Walker Garrett, and then he'll be followed by Councilor Mimi Woodson. So, Councilor Garrett.
Well, I have been outed as the millennial of the group, based off them telling you my age. But that gives me a unique perspective. I grew up in Columbus, my family's from here, and I got to see downtown when there wasn't much going on down here, when there wasn't a Riverwalk. And I got to be one, I'm able to say that as a child, I was able to ride the bikes along the Riverwalk with my brother and my parents. And it's remarkable because I came back from law school, I came back to Columbus, so much work had been done. Now I'm able to run on it, and now I can run the entire length without getting off in my neighborhood. So this is an exciting day for me personally. It's an exciting day for me as somebody who's a fitness fanatic because I love running, love lifting weights, and now I can run up and down. And it's exciting just for our city as a citizen. Live, work, play, something that our former mayor mentioned a lot, Mayor Tomlinson, and we talked about how do we get millennials, how do we get the generation after millennials, how do we get those folks to want to come to Columbus? And a lot of that is live, work, play. Is this a place where you can find a good job and where you have avenues to connect other than just roads? And we are expanding those possibilities every day with the Riverwalk, with the Dragonfly Trail, and that's because of the confidence you, the citizens, have. You've given us your confidence with your tax dollars, with your time, with your patience with these projects, and it's finally paid off. This one has been a long time coming, and the reward has been tremendous. And I thank you for your patience because I've been there right along with you, and I'm here to enjoy the fruits of that success. And let's just keep it going under Mayor Henderson. I'm excited to be a part of his administration and excited to see what we can do in the future to expand our progress. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First of all, I always like to start with thanking my Almighty God for allowing me to be where He wants me to be at the time He wants me to. To me, this is a wonderful experience, and I'm so excited that we finally came not only to the end, but to a beginning of a new future for Columbus, Georgia. I've been coming to Columbus, Georgia since about 1982, being in the military. The Army took me somewhere, brought me back, took me back, brought me back. Then I realized Columbus is where I need to let my duffel bag. This is my home. And I can tell you that I could be no prouder than I am any other day than I am today, because it's the people of Columbus that makes Columbus what it is today and what would always be. Our fathers before us, our mothers before us with vision, the new generation, the middle, because people come to Columbus now. And we used to say, and I remember I saw Brian from the chamber here, I remember when we used to say, and Gary, you know this, what is Columbus? What's it? What's it? Well, what is it? It is the people of Columbus, Georgia. It's the vision, it's the dream, and the faith that you have in your government. We might not be perfect, we might not please everyone, but our hearts are in the right place because we, each one of us, love Columbus and see the vision and the potential of Columbus. And this Riverwalk shows that, shows how everyone believed in this project. Everyone was willing to take their little penny and put it in that pot, plant the seed, water the seed to get to where we are today. So many of the speakers before me said it's connecting us, it's giving diversity, it's economy, it's running, it's exercise. But to me, it's the love of people, that we realize that we are one community. And this is how we're showing it. When we can walk, bike, picnic, play frisbee, and enjoy our river. Look around you. Look at you. Would you ever think you were in Columbus, Georgia? Look at the people that come to visit and stay. I just met 3 families not too long ago. They came to visit and they said, I'm coming back to Columbus. You hear people that retire from the Army. Where are you going? I'm coming back to Columbus, Georgia. Why? Because of the people. And so I say to you today, continue to have faith in us. We might not be perfect, but we understand the dream and we love our community as much as you do. And I ask you to pray for all of us and our community. We have some challenges, but we also have beauty. Close your eyes for one moment and remember what Columbus used to be. And look where we're going. And look at the legacy in the future we're leaving for our children. Thank you and God bless you.
One of the pleasures I take when we have visitors to Columbus and we go down to the Riverwalk is I like to let them know that they're actually on top of a large sewer project. Think about that for a second. And they're kind, I can see the wheels turning in their head when I tell them that. They're like, what do you mean it's a sewer project? And I say, this is a big sewer project. We had some problems with combined sewer in the past. And instead of, just doing like most communities would do, just unearth it, stick a pipe in the ground and be done with it, we really took lemonade lemons made lemonade out of it. That's the best analogy I can give you. I could use another analogy, but I don't think it would be appropriate for this. But we really did take a bad situation and make it into a good one. Back in 1992, when all this was going on, I felt kind of somewhat left out because I really wasn't part of that project. I really wanted to be part of it because I could see the potential it had with it and so forth. But I'm grateful that Billy Turner had that kind of image, that kind of vision, that kind of desire to move forward. Because in my mind, Billy is really the father of the Riverwalk itself. He's the one that, because of his ideas, his thoughts, his visions, his desire, that we're here today. And we have all benefited over the last 27 years because of that. The things he has set forth for us are now coming to fruition. Billy, I had the pleasure of introducing Billy to you because, and I thought it was only really necessity that he be here, that you understand about what's going on with this Riverwalk, what has gone on with this Riverwalk, and how we got to this point. So with that said, let me introduce you Billy Turner, former president of Columbus Waterworks, but in my mind as well, the father of the Chattahoochee Riverwalk.
I probably shouldn't say anything. That I'm going to go downhill, I think, from here, but y'all settle back. Rick told me I could talk as long as I wanted to, so some of you who know me, when I get started on water, it's hard for me to stop. It is April Fool's Day. The falls of the Chattahoochee River at Columbus have been occupied by humans for hundreds of years. Columbus was designated as a city by the state of Georgia in 1827, making it the last frontier city designated by the original 13 colonies. Textile mills started the growth of the city with the Coweta Falls factory in 1844, Eagle Phoenix in 1851, and followed by other mills and operations. Columbus struggled with its water supply through the late 1800s, trying several different springs and creeks as sources. To address that issue, the city asked the state to form the Columbus Board of Water Commissioners in 1902. Sewers were being built as the city grew, but without any plan for treatment of the wastewater. In 1958, the city asked the Water Board to address the sanitary sewer issue was not really well accepted by the Water Board. In 1960, the Water Board attorney, J.R. Elliott, told the State Health Department, Columbus has been using and I'm quoting, Columbus has been using the Chattahoochee River for more than 100 years for disposal, and we don't see why they should have to address its sewage disposal since they didn't build that downstream dam, which created the Walter F. George Lake. In a 1962 memo from the city manager pointed out to the Water Board the combined sewer issue. Nevertheless, the Water Board did its job, and in 1964, Columbus completed primary treatment for wastewater, which is settling of the solids. The Federal Clean Water Act was passed in 1972. In 1974, Columbus completed secondary treatment of wastewater, therefore complying quickly with the requirements of the Clean Water Act. In 1976, under the provisions of the Clean Water Act, Columbus completed a wastewater facilities plan with support from consultant Jordan Jones and Golding. Guess who the Jordan Jones and Golding project manager was for that project? In 1978, a study of the combined sewers and their impact on the river was performed for the waterworks by Jordan Jones and Golding. Guess who the project manager was for that? Let's jump forward about 10 years to January 1989. So who shows up as the president of Columbus Waterworks? And along with me came my beautiful and wonderful wife, Judy, who's sitting here on the front row, who's been telling me what to do for 60 years. So, like a lot of other things that I get credit for, she deserves most of it. Thank you, sugar. We had a serious drought in the Chattahoochee Basin in 1988 and 99, which focused attention on the river conditions, particularly Atlanta's combined sewer overflows. So in 1990, the Georgia legislature passed a law addressing all combined sewer overflows in the state. The city and the waterworks went right to work with a study that outlined the extent of the CSO problem. This study provided 40 alternatives for collecting and treating the combined sewer overflows with an estimated cost of about $100 million. This would turn out to be the largest public works project in the city's history. The CSO study didn't specifically call for a Riverwalk, but required a large pipe along the river to collect the combined stormwater and sanitary sewer flows. Obviously, with a $100 million cost facing us, there was a lot of discussion about the financial and technical issues. 1992 was the 500th anniversary of Columbus' discovery of America and our city's namesake. The Amos and Turner Bradley Foundation had committed $1 million each towards something significant for the Columbus Day celebration of 1992. The city, via the Uptown Development Authority, added some additional funding. A number of key individuals became proponents of the Riverwalk idea as the significant item for the Columbus Day commemoration. The Waterworks picked up the Riverwalk idea and ran with it, but not without significant support from then City Manager Michael Brown, Mayor Pro Tem A.J. McClung, and City Council members Red McDaniel and Evelyn Turner. Others who I want to mention who were strong supporters were Rozier Duttwelder with Uptown Columbus, Peggy Theus, who was support in Mayor Jernigan's office, and a riverfront committee of the Chamber of Commerce, which included architect Ed Burdishaw, Carol Rutland of Columbus State, and Virginia peoples of historic Columbus. The first phase of the Riverwalk was completed, opened, and dedicated by Mayor Frank Martin and Up With People youth singers on Columbus Day 1992. Clearly, the Riverwalk idea was established. So, the uptown part of the Riverwalk was complete and dedicated before we resolved how to finance the entire project. The Water Board had performed a study that suggested options for funding this CSO fix, including raising ad valorem taxes, significantly increasing water and sewer rates, but a local option sales tax was considered preferable. So with strong support from Mayor Martin and campaign leadership from Matt Swift, the local option sales tax was passed by a significant margin in late 1993. It provided funds for completing the balance of the CSO project, the Southern Riverwalk to Fort Benning, the Civic Center, the Public Safety Building, and other projects. We also received a $20 million federal grant to demonstrate our CSO treatment process, for which we have received considerable national recognition. In 2000, the Waterworks built the northern section of the Riverwalk as part of a waterline project to serve Phoenix City. The section extends from Lake Oliver Road on the north end to just behind where we are located now. I would also like to mention that the current Waterworks president, Steve Davis, was hired in 1990 to oversee the construction of the Uptown Riverwalk section and has been deeply involved in every one of the Riverwalk projects where the Waterworks has participated. Steve is here back there. Stan, would you raise your hand? And there are a couple other Waterworks guys here with him who have been involved in that project. So in closing, thank you for letting me be a part of this project for the celebration of this great 22-mile-long Riverwalk along the great Chattahoochee River, which adds significantly to the great outdoor city that we have become. Thank you very much.
I told you earlier that I was not part of the original team in '92, which I was deeply envious about, I'll be honest. But I'll tell you now, I am eternally grateful for the fact that I got to see and help with the completion of this last section and a couple of the other sections on the Riverwalk. And more importantly to me, Billy, is thank you again for your leadership and your vision. Without it, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you very much for that. Do appreciate it. At this time, we're going to do the ceremonial ribbon cutting and dedication here. I'm going to ask Mayor Henderson and members of the City Council. Former Mayor Thomason, I'd like for you also to be here with us over here to cut. Our city manager and both our deputy city managers as well. If you want to walk to the Riverwalk, you have to go back up here to the little gate, follow a pathway around and come down this gravel road. You can see it right here through the openings. And then there's a staircase that will take you actually onto the Riverwalk itself. You may go that way. If you're not comfortable doing that, you may go back out to the parking lot where we have vans that will actually shuttle you down to the other end. You may walk on the Riverwalk from that point up and back, if you so desire. So you have two ways of going, either this way by walking down through the pathway, or going back up and catching one of our shuttle vans and going down from there. Last but not least, after the cutting of the ceremonial ribbon here, we're going to ask you to stand again, and then we'll have the retrieval of the colors. And once the colors have been retrieved, we will conclude our ceremony at that point. So let's go ahead and cut the actual ribbon.